Hi everybody. I want to tell you a story this week about the power of trusting the universe, of knowing with every part of yourself that what you're asking for is going to happen, and how magical that can be when it all comes together. So for those of you who are new to my channel, hello, I am Jane. I talk about mindset and I talk about manifestation, I talk about my higher self, I talk about living a kind of spiritually aligned life, if you like, all the things that I love, all the things that I teach to other people. So if you've come back to join me again, I'm so glad you're here. But if you're new, please stick around, hit that subscribe button, stay in my world, and I promise you that I will uplift you and I will give you tips and tricks and techniques that are useful and easy and that you're going to be able to implement really well into your own life. So yeah, stick around. If that sounds good, subscribe, stay with me. But today I'm going to give you a tale of my life, and something that's going to prove to you that when you're trying to manifest, when you are trying to call something into your life, that if you can get into that state of just knowing that it's coming, just knowing without a doubt that you're going to have it, then that's how you call it in, and that's how it happens fast. And so this is a story. You all know that I went to the UK for Christmas. I've just recently got back. I'm still depressed. No, I'm not really, because I've got America coming up in a couple of months. It's just amazing, honestly. I've no travel for years and then all of this going on. Anyway, so go back a step. We'd booked accommodation through Airbnb for our England trip months and months in advance. I booked the flights, and then I knew that I had a budget and I knew that I had to stick to this budget, and so I booked this accommodation. I was really struggling because where my sisters live, the two of them live in Chester in the UK, which although not a massively expensive city, it's not cheap either. It's not like London, but it's not like, I don't know, Liverpool is a lot cheaper, and that's where I'm from, and that's where I'd have, loved to have stayed, because I'd have been by Anfield. But I wanted to be by family. I wanted to be by my sisters. One of them lives in Chester, one of them lives, just outside Chester. So that's where I wanted to stay. And so I looked on Airbnb and I found a property, and it was fine and it was lovely. It was beautiful. So I booked it, but it was small. It only had one bedroom, and for the majority of our trip that would have been fine because there was only me and my two girls. But then my husband came to join us halfway through the trip, and so at that point, only having one bedroom and a sofa bed in the lounge, that would have been quite cramped. We would have been quite cramped, right, and not had a lot of space. And about 2 to 3 months before we were due to leave, before we were due to get on the plane and go, my eldest daughter, who was a teenager, had a complete and utter meltdown about this accommodation. She needs her own space. She's a teenager, she's going through it all. She's right in her head at the moment. If you've all got teenage daughters or sons, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we had this major freak out moment, this major meltdown moment, and she started chucking links at me for Airbnbs in Chester, like, all the time. And we couldn't afford any of them. They were beautiful, but we couldn't afford them. And so I had to say to her, look, we can't stay in any of these places. They're just not suitable for us. They're just not in our budget. Anyway, she found this link for another place right in the centre of Christchurch, and it looked, on paper, it looked perfect, right? On paper, it looked brilliant. It was a beautiful place. It had 2 bedrooms. It was bigger. It was just really nice. It was well done out. It was in a good area of Chester. I knew where it was. I knew exactly the street it was on, so I wasn't worried about that in that moment. Anyway, a bit of backwards and forwards in with the lady who owned it to see if we could get it down to our budget, because it was slightly over budget, and we managed to come to an agreement with it. And as I was about to cancel the first accommodation and book that one, somebody else booked it. Now, the story of that, right? I knew in my heart of hearts, I knew that I didn't want to stay there. I knew that I didn't think it was going to be right for us, for our family. It was in Chester. It was on a street that I knew. It was on a street that I loved. It was a nice place. But for 3 weeks of that trip, the girls and I were there by ourselves. And I knew that where this street was, there was a nightclub called Rosie's right around the corner. And being Christmas, and when everyone is out to have a good time, we'd be in that place at night, and people would rock out of Rosie's nightclub, and it would be loud and it would be rowdy and they would be drunk, and I just wouldn't feel right. And also within that, the parking space, obviously we're getting a hire car, the parking space was across the park. It wasn't right outside our property, so therefore I've got to leave a car that doesn't really belong to me away where I can't see it, where I don't know what's going on. And in England, for those of you that don't know, in England it gets dark at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon around Christmas, and so then the girls and I would have to walk through the park when we park up our car to get back to our accommodation in the dark by ourselves. And I just was uneasy about this. I wasn't easy about it. And so even though Chloe really wanted it and I was prepared to do it for her, I knew it wasn't right. And I kept saying to the universe, show me a sign this is not right, show me a sign this is not right, show me a sign this is not right. And as I'm about to book this thing, somebody else takes it for a couple of our dates, and so it wasn't there. So I knew that the universe had stepped in for us, and I knew that was why we weren't getting it. That was why it had fallen through. That was why it hadn't worked out. Anyway, I then sort of said, if we are meant to stay in the first place, then I'll know it. I will know it. If we're not meant to stay there, send me something better. Send me something different. Give me a sign that I'm not meant to stay there. In the background of all of this, you know, I'm doing my thing with the universe. In the background, Chloe's having her freak out still, you know, because we haven't changed. We haven't got any more space. We've still only got a 1-bedroom place with a sofa bed and a lounge. I'm staying totally calm. And I'm just saying to her, if we're meant to have it, then we will stay there. If we're not meant to have that place, the universe will send us something better. Trust the universe. Trust in the universe. And then she's getting all this desperate energy, and I'm saying to her, just calm down. Just calm down, because desperate energy doesn't work, right? Desperate energy is like, it's like heavy energy. It's like, I need it, I need it, I need it. You don't get to manifest in that energy. So just, you know, just put your trust over. I'm putting my trust over to the universe. I know that if we're meant to be somewhere else, something better will come along. Anyway, about 2 days after all of this happened, I decided to just hop onto Airbnb again and just have another look and just see what might have come up. And there was a house that I'd seen every single time I'd logged on, I'd seen this property. It was beautiful. I knew where it was. It was about 2 minutes drive from one of my sisters and about 10 minutes drive from the other. It was about 15 minutes drive from our friends in North Wales, where all of they are, where my dad used to live, you know, all of where we grew up, where Steve and I grew up. It was perfect. It was walkable to a Sainsbury's, which is a big supermarket. For those of you that don't know, there was a coffee shop literally like a minute's drive away. And, you know, for me, bit of a coffee snob that I am, I have to have that when I'm on my holidays. It was perfect. It was on a housing estate. You know, I Google mapped it, and there's like kids and like women just walking around by themselves right opposite a park. Beautiful location, proper driveway for the car, just lovely. And it reminded me so much of my house that I used to live in when I lived in England, when Steve and I first moved in together, and you know, before we moved to New Zealand. It was just like it. It was like everything was right. I would decorate it the way it was decorated. The furniture I would have, it was totally my taste. There was even an espresso maker in the kitchen. One of the things that I would have loved to have whenever I stay. And I kept saying this house, and I kept seeing it, I kept seeing it. It was over our budget, right? It was over our budget. I don't know what made me message the lady that owned this house, but something said to me, I know this house is way, and when I say over budget, I'm like double the budget. It was massively over, massively. But something said to me, message her, just ask, because you don't know if you don't try. And I really feel that was the universe nudging me to, put myself out there and just ask the question. Anyway, this lovely lady instantly got back to me and said, reading your story and reading what's happened, and because of COVID and because I hadn't seen my family for that long, I need to make this work for you. What is your top budget? So I told her my top budget, and she was like, right, I'll match it. Like, she just knocked off like $2,000, like instantly, just like, if that isn't enough in itself. So I then got back to her and kind of went, oh, thank you, that's amazing. But I know that Airbnb are going to charge me, a fee. And I'm just aware that that's going to knock it over the budget again. And so I told her how much the Airbnb fee was going to be. And she came back to me instantly and she said, I'll just knock another couple of hundred quid off for you, so that the Airbnb fee is like taken out. So, because I'd stayed in the energy, and I knew that the universe was going to present me with something, and I knew that I was going to find something better. I knew that if I was meant to stay in the place I'd already booked, I would be fine with it. Or if I was meant to find something better, that would appear, that would happen. And here was this perfect house. And because I had just put all of my faith in the universe, and I just said, look, I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to get stressed about this. I'm not going to let Chloe get stressed about this. I'm going to teach her that we stay in a calm energy, we stay in a flow energy, we stay in a light energy, and whatever will be, because the universe always knows best for us. The universe will always give us something better. And not only did it deliver this perfect house that felt like my own house, with a driveway for the car, on a safe housing estate where we felt perfectly at ease, so close to my family and my friends, and just lovely. It also gave it me for my budget, which was unheard of when I saw the initial price of this place. And everything worked out for the best. So the moral of this story, right, is treat your request to the universe like you are going into a restaurant. Here's my analogy for you. You're going into a restaurant and you're ordering a pizza. Now you can go in that restaurant, you can go, I'll have the pizza please. And you can sit at your table and you can go, oh my God, I didn't tell them what kind of pizza I wanted. Oh my God, what if they bring me like chicken or pepperoni and I don't eat meat and I only wanted mushroom and onion and cheese? And like, what if they get it wrong? And what if my order doesn't come? And what if it's the wrong size? And what if I don't like it? And what if the waitress didn't even give my order to the kitchen and actually nothing arrives? What if I'm not going to get it? And stress and stress and stress and stress. Or you can sit there and you can say, I would like a mushroom and cheese pizza please, gluten-free base if that's your thing. And you just sit back at your table knowing that you've put your order in, knowing that you've ordered what it is you want specifically, knowing that you're going to get it. And you just sit and you relax and you salivate and you think about how wonderful this pizza is going to be when you get it and how you are going to enjoy it because it's perfect for you. If you manifest in that energy, not the stressy, oh my God, what if I don't get it? What if something goes wrong? What if it's going to be awful? Oh my God, it's not going to happen. I can't afford it. This isn't good. If you just sit back and you just go, I've told the universe what I want. I've been specific about what we need. I'm going to trust that it's coming to me. And this or something better will do, will be okay. And that is exactly what happened with my manifesting story for this trip, for England, for our property, for where we stayed. And it was perfect for us. And it was amazing. And we loved it. And so that's the energy that you come to with manifesting anything, don't be desperate, don't be needy, don't be wanting, don't be hanging on, controlling. What if I don't get it? What if this? What if the other? What if something goes wrong? What if it's awful? What if it's not right? Had we stayed in the first place, that would have been okay, because that would have been what was right for us. But because I just kept it light and airy and just put my request over and just waited to see what unfolded without getting in any kind of stress about it, then everything happened perfectly. We got something within our budget, something better than I could ever have imagined within my budget. And not only that, this lovely lady even put up some Christmas decks for us. She chucked a tree up for us so the girls could still have a Christmas tree at Christmas. It was just wonderful. And so if you stay in that lightness and that ease and that flow, it happens. And it happens the way it's meant to. And so I wanted to tell you about that because I think it's a really good example of manifesting at its finest. Manifesting with ease, with no stress, with total, utter trust that what you're asking for is going to come. So I hope you find that story. I hope you find it useful. Implement it in your own life. Let me know in the comments below times when you have manifested with ease, when you've had total, complete, utter trust that, you know, everything's going to be okay, and what transpired because of it. Or on the flip side, let me know when you've been trying to force things, when you've been being needy, when you've been in that I want, and it's all going to go wrong energy, and what transpired or didn't transpire because of that. Honestly, manifesting gets to be easy if you just can let it all go and let the universe do its thing. It honestly is as simple as that. And I hope my story of my Airbnb in Chester over Christmas gives you some clarity around how you do it and around how easy it is when you just stay light and in flow. And, you know, just let it happen how it's naturally meant to happen. So that is all from me for this week. I know it's been a bit longer, this one, but I've talked a bit more than I normally would. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you that because I think it's really useful. So that's it from me, and I will see you next week. Bye.